Jude Kirton-Darling, Labour MEP for the North East. In 3 cases in your constituency, in Durham, Chester Street and in Chilton, the European Commission is referring a case against the UK government to the European Court of Justice because wastewater isn't up to scratch. What's your reaction?
Well, I think it's really essential that we have legislation which ensures high standards in terms of wastewater management, in terms of public health, environmental protection. I think it's sad if we have areas in the North East who aren't meeting those standards, and they're set at a standard that the rest of the region are meeting. So I think that we've had nearly a decade to try and get this right, and the European Commission is basically applying the rules that have been set out in national legislation, in European legislation for a long time. We should see investment to improve the situation and to ensure that the residents in Chester Street, in Durham and Chilton have the same quality in terms of waste management and public health that other people do in the region. So while I don't welcome ever the fact that the UK is taken to the European Court, I think that ensuring that there's an improvement in the situation sometimes means that the Commission has to take legal action to get the investment and the policy shifting.
I mean, the UK have had a lot of notice, a lot of warnings that this could take place. Even at this last stage, there's 3 stages before the European Commission refers a case to the European Court of Justice. Ultimately, this could see the UK fined. Would you like to see that? Would that help the situation if it eventually leads to water quality improved in the region?
Well, I think infringement cases are always the end of the line at European level. It's the last-ditch attempt to get things improved. I obviously don't want to see the UK fined. I'd like to see us actually change the situation so that it's resolved and we fall within the line of the standards. I think that would be a much better response. But if the government isn't willing to take the nettle between its hands, deal with the issues in these areas, but not just these areas, in a number of areas across the country, in some of the most affluent areas as well as these areas of Durham, then there has to be a point where you say there's a penalty for not implementing strong standards in terms of public health. So it's not something that I welcome, but I recognise that if you don't apply the law, and it's a law that has been coming down the line for a long time, we've had a long time to prepare the implementation, then we have to face the consequences of not implementing that legislation.
And why does it matter? Why is it important to get this water improved? It's urban wastewater, so in layman's terms we're talking about sewage water. Why does it matter that it's of a cleaner and better standard?
Well, I think it's really basic, isn't it? I mean, we don't have to go back to the 19th century to understand that problems with wastewater in urban areas are linked to questions of disease and real public health concerns, environmental protection concerns when that wastewater is going into local rivers and out into estuaries. I think that's something that the public understand. We know from all of our experience over the last several hundred years of the gradual improvement of our urban sanitation and waste management, that this is a good thing for local people. It means less disease, it means less environmental damage, and that public health gain has a whole set of gains across the spectrum, whether it's just from people feeling better, feeling healthier, feeling more productive. There are net improvements in terms of how people perceive their local environment. So there are lots of reasons why investing in proper sanitation, proper wastewater management is really good for local society, for the environment, for the economy locally. And that's why these aren't, this isn't onerous red tape. Lots of other places are meeting these standards. It's not an impossible standard that can't be reached. These are a number of specific cases where the standard hasn't been met, and we now need to get all of the agencies around the table who are involved, private sector, public sector, government agencies, get the situation sorted out, get it sorted out before we face a big hefty fine from the European Union.